everyone, I'm Chloe, and today we're having a relaxed coffee chat with my friend Ethan. This conversation is specially designed for B1 English learners. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Just relax, grab a cup of coffee, and let's learn English naturally. Hi, Ethan. It's great to have you here today.
Hi, Chloe. Thanks for inviting me. It's always nice to sit down, enjoy a coffee, and have a good conversation.
I couldn't agree more. Life can get so busy that we sometimes forget to slow down and simply talk.
Exactly. I think that's why I enjoy cafes so much. They're one of the few places where people actually sit, relax, and spend time together.
Speaking of busy lives, today's topic is something almost everyone can relate to: our daily routine. It's funny because we all have 24 hours in a day, but somehow our days can look completely different.
That's true. Some people wake up before the sun comes up, while others don't even think about getting out of bed until 9 or 10.
Which one are you?
Definitely an early bird. I usually wake up at around 6:30. I don't use 5 different alarms like some people do. One alarm is enough. Once I'm awake, I'm awake.
I'm a little jealous. I'm not terrible in the morning, but I need a few minutes before my brain starts working properly. The first thing I do is drink a glass of water. Only after that do I make my coffee. That actually sounds like a healthy way to start the day. I've been trying to get into the habit of drinking more water in the morning instead of reaching for coffee immediately. It's not easy, though. Coffee smells too good. I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes I can smell coffee before I even open my eyes. It's almost like my brain says, "Good morning, where's the coffee?"
That's me every single morning.
So, once you've had breakfast, what happens next?
Well, I usually spend about 10 minutes planning my day. Nothing complicated. I just look at my calendar and write down the 3 most important things I need to finish. I've noticed that when I do that, it's much easier to stay on track. Otherwise, I end up doing small, unimportant tasks all day.
That's a really good point. I used to make a huge to-do list with 20 different tasks. At the end of the day, I'd feel disappointed because I couldn't finish everything. Now I focus on fewer things, and somehow I get more done.
Exactly. A shorter list feels less stressful. It also helps you see progress. Every time I cross something off my list, I feel like I've accomplished something.
Do you usually work from home?
Most of the time, yes. Working from home has many advantages. I save time because I don't have to commute. But it also requires discipline. There are so many distractions. The kitchen is only a few steps away. The sofa looks comfortable. Sometimes my phone suddenly becomes much more interesting than my work.
I think almost everyone who works from home has experienced that. There are days when cleaning the desk somehow feels more exciting than answering emails. Exactly. It's amazing how productive we become at doing everything, except the thing we're supposed to do. So how do you avoid distractions?
One thing that really helps is putting my phone in another room. If it's next to me, I'll probably check it every few minutes without even realizing it. When it's out of sight, I stay focused much longer.
That's a smart idea. I also try to work in blocks. I focus for about 50 minutes, then I take a break for 10 minutes. I stretch, walk around, or make another cup of tea. When I come back, I feel much more focused.
I've started doing something similar. Before, I thought taking breaks meant I was wasting time. Now I realize the opposite is true. Short breaks help me keep my energy throughout the day.
I completely agree. Sometimes people think being productive means working nonstop, but our brains need time to rest. Even 5 minutes can make a difference.
Definitely. And when I ignore that, I usually run out of time because I'm too tired to concentrate later in the afternoon.
That's interesting. People often think they're saving time by skipping breaks, but they actually lose focus and end up working more slowly.
Exactly. It's one of those lessons I had to learn the hard way.
You mentioned taking short breaks during work. I'm curious, what do you usually do during those 10 minutes?
I try not to look at my phone.
If I start scrolling through social media, 10 minutes quickly become 30. Instead, I stand up, stretch a little, refill my water bottle, or simply look out the window. Sometimes doing almost nothing is exactly what I need.
I like that. People often think every minute has to be productive, but I don't believe that's true. Sometimes our minds need a little space.
Exactly. I used to feel guilty whenever I wasn't working. Now I've realized that resting is also part of being productive. Without enough rest, I can't do my best work.
That's such an important lesson. I think many people are trying to do more and more every day. But maybe the goal isn't to do more. Maybe it's to do the important things better.
I couldn't agree more. That's why I try to stick to a simple routine. Nothing complicated. Just a few healthy habits that I can actually keep doing.
What are those habits?
Well, I try to wake up at the same time every day. I exercise 3 or 4 times a week. I drink more water. And I stop working before dinner whenever possible. Those things don't sound exciting, but they've made a big difference.
I think consistency is much more important than being perfect. People often create huge goals, they follow them for a week, then they give up because the plan is too difficult.
Small habits are easier to keep. When you repeat them every day, they become part of your life. You don't have to think about them anymore.
Would you say you're a creature of habit?
I think so. I eat breakfast at almost the same time every morning. I sit in the same chair when I work. I even walk the same route in the evening. Some people might think that's boring, but honestly, I enjoy having a routine.
There's nothing wrong with that. A routine gives us stability. Of course, it's nice to try something new once in a while, but having daily habits can make life less stressful.
Absolutely. When my mornings are organized, the rest of my day usually goes much more smoothly.
Let's talk about exercise. Do you enjoy working out, or is it something you do because you know it's good for you?
A little bit of both. I won't pretend I wake up every morning excited to exercise. Some days I'd rather stay in bed. But I never regret exercising after I finish. I always feel better afterward.
I feel exactly the same. Sometimes getting started is the hardest part. Once I'm moving, I actually enjoy it.
That's true. I don't spend 2 hours at the gym. Usually 30 or 40 minutes is enough. The goal isn't to become a professional athlete. I just want to stay healthy.
I think that's a healthy way to look at it. People sometimes compare themselves to others too much, but everyone's routine is different.
Instead of comparing myself to someone else, I compare myself to who I was last month. If I'm improving little by little, that's enough.
That's a great mindset. Speaking of improving, how do you deal with busy days? You know, those days when everything seems to happen at once.
Those days still happen. No routine is perfect. Sometimes meetings take longer than expected. Sometimes unexpected problems appear. When that happens, I remind myself that I can't do everything. I simply do what's most important first.
I like that approach. It's easy to panic when your schedule changes, but staying calm usually helps you make better decisions.
Exactly. Years ago, I would try to finish everything. Now I ask myself one simple question. What really needs my attention today? That question helps me focus.
I think that's useful for everyone listening today. Not every task is equally important. Choosing the right task matters more than trying to do everything.
Definitely. When I finish my most important work early, I feel much more relaxed. Then I can make the most of the rest of my day. Maybe I'll read a book. Maybe I'll call a friend. Or maybe I'll simply enjoy a quiet evening.
I love that expression. Enjoying the rest of the day is something many people forget. Life isn't only about work. It's also about spending time with the people we care about.
Success means different things to different people. For me, success is finishing my work and still having time to enjoy life.
We've talked about mornings and work. Now I'm wondering what your evenings look like. Are they usually busy, or do you try to slow down?
I try to slow down as much as I can. A few years ago, I had a bad habit of checking work emails until bedtime. I thought I was being responsible, but I was actually making it harder to relax.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's so easy to keep working when your laptop and your phone are always nearby.
The problem is that your workday never really ends. Even if you're sitting on your sofa, your mind is still thinking about work.
So, what changed?
I realized I needed a better balance. Now, after I finish work, I put my laptop away. That simple action tells my brain work is over. It's a small habit, but it helps.
I like that idea. Sometimes we need little signals that tell our brain it's time to change from work mode to personal time.
That's exactly how I see it. After dinner, I usually try to wind down before going to bed. I don't do anything exciting. Sometimes I read a few chapters of a novel. Sometimes I listen to soft music. And sometimes I just sit quietly with a cup of tea.
That sounds peaceful. I think many people spend the last hour of the day looking at their phones. I've done that too. But I always sleep better when I avoid screens before bed.
Same here. If I spend an hour watching short videos, my mind feels busy. But if I read a book instead, I fall asleep much faster.
It's amazing how small choices can affect the next day. A good evening often leads to a better morning.
Absolutely. People usually focus on morning routines, but I think evening routines are just as important. How you end your day often decides how you'll start the next one.
Has your daily routine changed over the years?
Oh, definitely. When I was in college, every day was different. Sometimes I'd stay up until 2 in the morning. Sometimes I'd skip breakfast because I was in a hurry. I didn't think much about healthy habits back then.
I think many people have a similar experience. When we're younger, we often believe we have unlimited energy.
Yeah. But after I started working full-time, I realized I couldn't live that way anymore. I needed more structure. Otherwise, I always felt tired.
Was it difficult to change?
At first, yes. Changing habits isn't easy. You can't expect everything to improve overnight. I started with one small change, then another, then another. After a few months, those small changes became my normal routine.
That's encouraging. Sometimes people think they need to change their entire life in one weekend, but real change usually happens slowly.
If your goal is too big, it's easy to give up. But if your goal is simple, you're much more likely to keep going.
Here's something I've been thinking about lately. People often say they're too busy. Do you think we're actually busier than before? Or do we simply have more distractions?
That's an interesting question. I think it's a little of both. Life is busy, but our attention is also being pulled in many different directions. A message appears, then another notification, then someone sends a video. Before we know it, 20 minutes have disappeared.
I've experienced that many times. Sometimes I pick up my phone to check the weather. 5 minutes later, I'm reading something completely unrelated.
Exactly. Our phones are wonderful tools, but we have to use them wisely. Otherwise, they start controlling our attention instead of helping us our attention.
That's why I sometimes leave my phone in another room when I'm reading. If it's next to me, I'm tempted to check it.
That's a great strategy. Removing distractions is often easier than trying to fight them.
Let's imagine someone watching this conversation feels overwhelmed by their daily routine. Where should they begin?
I'd tell them not to change everything at once. Start with one habit. Maybe wake up 15 minutes earlier, or drink one extra glass of water each day, or go for a short walk after dinner. Choose something so small that it's difficult to fail.
I really like that advice. Small successes build confidence, and confidence helps us continue.
Many people stop because they expect perfect results immediately. But progress is much more important than perfection.
That's one of my favorite ideas. You don't have to become a different person tomorrow. You just have to become a little better than yesterday.
I couldn't have said it better.
Before we finish today's conversation, I have one last question. If you could give every English learner one piece of advice, not only about learning English, but about daily life, what would it be?
I'd say this: don't wait until you feel ready. Whether it's learning English, exercising, reading more books, or building a better routine, just begin. Your first step doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
I love that. Sometimes we spend so much time waiting for the perfect moment that we forget to enjoy today.
Life isn't about having a perfect routine. It's about building a routine that works for you. Everyone is different. What matters is finding habits that help you feel healthier, happier, and more balanced.
That's a wonderful message to end our conversation. Thanks so much for joining me today, Ethan. I really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you, Chloe. I had a great time. And I hope everyone listening found something useful they can try in their own daily life.
I'm sure they did. Now, before we finish today's episode, let's take a moment to review some useful expressions that appeared naturally in our conversation. Don't worry if you didn't remember all of them. That's completely normal. The more you hear them, the more natural they'll become. Let's go through them one by one.
Our first expression is get into the habit of. It means you do something so many times that it becomes part of your daily life. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't have to remind yourself every day, you just do it. That's a habit. Example, I've gotten into the habit of reading for 20 minutes before bed. That means reading before bed is now a normal part of my day.
Next is stay on track. This means you continue doing what you plan to do. You don't get distracted. Imagine you're walking on a path. If you keep walking on that path, you're staying on track. Example, I write down my 3 most important tasks every morning because it helps me stay on track.
The next one is take a break. This simply means to stop working or studying for a short time so you can rest. Everyone needs breaks. Your brain needs them too. Example, after working for 1 hour, I usually take a break and stretch. A short break can help you come back with more energy.
Number 4 is run out of time. This means there isn't enough time left to finish something. Maybe you were busy, maybe something unexpected happened. Now the time is gone. Example, I wanted to clean my apartment, but I ran out of time. That means I didn't have enough time to finish.
Next, we have stick to. It means you continue following your plan. You don't give up. You don't change it every day. Example, I'm trying to stick to my morning routine. That means I'm trying to keep doing it every day.
This is one of my favorite expressions. Make the most of means to use your time or your opportunity in the best possible way. Imagine you have one free afternoon. Instead of wasting it, you spend time doing something meaningful. You're making the most of your time. Example, I finished work early, so I made the most of my evening by going for a walk and reading a book.
Now let's look at wind down. This means to slowly relax after a busy day. You're helping your body and your mind become calm. Many people wind down by reading, listening to music, or drinking a cup of tea. Example, I like to wind down by reading a book before bed.
Our last expression is a creature of habit. This describes someone who likes doing things the same way every day. Maybe they eat the same breakfast, maybe they wake up at the same time, maybe they always sit in the same chair. There's nothing wrong with that. It simply means you enjoy routines. Example, my dad is a creature of habit. He drinks coffee at exactly 7 a.m. every morning.
And that's the end of today's coffee chat. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. I hope this conversation helped you learn some natural English that you can actually use in everyday life. Remember, learning English isn't about memorizing hundreds of words overnight. It's about listening, understanding, and using English a little every day.
The more you hear real conversations, the more comfortable English will feel. So don't worry if you didn't understand everything today. That's completely normal. Come back to this episode in a few days. Listen again. You'll be surprised by how much more you understand the second or third time. Before we finish, I'd love to hear from you. Which expression from today's episode was your favorite? Leave a comment below and try using it in your own sentence. I'd love to read your examples. If you enjoyed today's coffee chat and found it helpful, please consider supporting the channel by giving this video a like and subscribing to HittheLang. We'll be sharing more natural English conversations for every CEFR level, from A1 all the way to C2. Thank you again for joining us. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in our next coffee chat.